Hi, my name's Alyssa. I'm the author of the blog Learning to Live by Defying the Odds and the soon-to-be published ebook The Waves of Life Going Against the Tide. I write about my experiences living with Gardner syndrome. Gardner syndrome is both a rare and genetic disease, and it is part of a group of hereditary colon cancer diseases. I'm the fourth generation in my family that has been diagnosed with the hereditary colon cancer disease. I was diagnosed with Gardner syndrome when I was 14 years old. The simplest way to explain my disease is that by having it, I will have colon cancer at some point in my lifetime if I let my disease go untreated. I already had 30 polyps at the time of my diagnosis, but none of them were cancer yet. I still could have had my colon removed at that time to prevent future colon cancer from happening. But my family and I decided to try another treatment. I started taking a medication used more commonly to treat arthritis to see if my disease could be slowed down. This treatment had worked for some people, but it wasn't for everyone. I was scared of my disease and cancer. 1 year later, I would find out if the medication worked. The first year after my diagnosis was really hard for me. I found myself wondering if my experience with my disease would be similar to the experiences that my relatives had already had with their diseases. I wasn't sure if my treatment would work, and only my very close friends and family knew that I had Gardner syndrome. It was really hard talking about it with other people, and I was afraid that people would treat me differently because I have a disease that no one's ever heard of. In summer of 2006, I had my first colonoscopy since starting my treatment. I found out that I went from having 30 polyps to just 3. My disease was considered to be in remission. I continued my treatment and continued having colonoscopies each summer to monitor my disease's progress. Initially, my family had a goal that I would graduate from high school before having my colon removed. They wanted me to live as normal of a life as I could during my high school years. Little did I know I would reach even more life milestones with my colon intact. I've been in remission for over 7 years now and will be graduating from college this March. This past year I started sharing my story in both my blog and my memoir. A few events happened earlier in this past year that started this whole writing process for me. In my blog I started writing about all of my experiences, and I talked about just about everything, like my relationship with God, my family, my experiences that I've had, my fears, my hopes, basically anything that I could think of. Then a few weeks later, I decided to start writing a memoir. I wanted to write a memoir because I wanted to thank everyone who has helped me over the course of my lifetime in dealing with hereditary colon cancer diseases. From when my dad was diagnosed to now, I guess. I also wanted to raise awareness for my disease and other hereditary colon cancer diseases. I wanted something to give to my family too, because if I had children who ended up having my disease, or if I face medical challenges later on in my life, I wanted something for my family to look at and for me to look at too and find hope from. I am thankful I've been in remission for this long. My hope is that my experiences and the success of my treatment might provide clues towards a cure for hereditary colon cancer diseases. Sharing my story has helped me find hope and meaning from my experiences. After I graduate from college, I hope to continue advocating for hereditary colon cancer diseases and other rare diseases, and to become an oncology nurse or a child life specialist. I am also considering public speaking as a career. I plan on writing another memoir at some point in my life when I have more experiences to talk about with my disease, like having children later on down the road. Or maybe I'll be in remission still. Who knows? It's kind of exciting not knowing, to be honest. But my hope is that I will be the last generation in my family to be diagnosed with a hereditary colon cancer disease. basically, I've learned a lot since I started sharing my story, and I could make a whole movie about it probably, or something, I don't know. But I have learned, the biggest thing that I have learned, I guess, is that I am in control of my own destiny. When I look back on everything that I have done over the past 8 years since my diagnosis, I have made choices for my life, basically. Like, I decided to go to college and go into different jobs and all that stuff and write a memoir. But I've learned that if I spend my time wondering when my disease will return, like I have at some times in the past, I miss out on living my life. My disease will always be a part of my life, mostly because it's genetic, but I can choose the role that it plays in my life. I could be a bystander and let my disease control my life, or I could be an artist and turn my disease into something beautiful.